Hey, 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 welcome to GMIHub Online. I am Cheryl, your host, and I'm so glad you're here to join us today. Listen, we know you write songs and we know that you have lyrics to your songs, right? Did you know that you can actually monetize your lyrics? I bet you didn't. And that's the reason why we're going to be on this conversation tonight. I am so thrilled with the guests that we have today. But before I introduce our guests, let me introduce you to, of course, my wonderful co host, Dale Borland. Dale, and unmute your mic. And it still didn't work.
I'm just kidding. I did unmute it. It's just giving you a hard time. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I usually forget to unmute my mic, but this time I didn't. I thought, well, I'm just going to play. I didn't. But anyways, all right. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're listening to us or watching us here live on YouTube, thanks so much. It's your first time joining us. Don't forget to hit that subscription and like, notification bell, and all that jazz. And then you'll know the next time we put a video up. Thank you so much for tuning in. You want to find out more about us, just head over to gmihub.ca. gmihub.ca is our website, and we got some information there about what we do and who we are. And we want to connect with you, and that's why we have this place for you to put your email. You connect with us on there, and we will send you a monthly newsletter. It's called Hub Happening. It's really just basically telling you what's happening in the GMI Hub. The Gospel Music Industry Hub is here to help you guys get your music out there, help you do the best job you can. And if you have an event or a release coming up, or you have something that's happening, a concert or something that you're putting together, let us know in the Hub Happening. Like, we will put it out for everyone to hear. That's right. We'll let them see what you're doing. So just send us an email. And so we'd love to connect with you and help keep doing what you do. And I'm excited about today's conversation because we're going to talk about those who are out there who are songwriters, or maybe more specifically, lyricists. If you're a lyricist, you'll want to stick around and check this out.
Thanks so much, Dale. And I am going to introduce our guests right now. We have two guests, wonderful guests from LyricFind. LyricFind is an organization that is actually the leaders in lyric monetization. I have with us today, or we have with us today, two from the publishing department of LyricFind. We have the senior vice president, Robert Singerman, and we have the publishing administrator. I think I just said that wrong. Laura, I said it wrong. Gennaro. Laura, are you with us? And Robert, you with us? Did I say it right? I tried.
Perfectly. I don't know if you can. I hope so.
Yes. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us tonight. I'm very excited about this.
Good.
We are
This is awesome.
We are so excited too. We are so excited. So much of our audience doesn't even know about LyricFind. I tried to give kind of a brief about it, but could you kind of, in your own words, talk about it?
Yeah.
You want to go, Laura?
Sure. So LyricFind has been around since 2004, so quite a while now. And what we do essentially is aggregate licensing and content, so song lyrics, so that we can use them in digital applications. So when users listening to music on DSPs see lyrics scrolling along with their favorite songs, usually those come from us. And the important thing, I think, is to make clear is that we have the licenses to display those lyrics. So that means that every time the lyrics are being viewed, the rights holders, so the songwriters or the publishers, can earn revenue from those views.
Let me
I think Robert's gonna,
Yeah, sorry. Let me add a couple of things here, a couple of points. One is that a little bit different from what Dale said. If you're somebody who writes the music and somebody else writes the lyrics, you still get paid, because we pay based on it's called a mechanical royalty split. So basically the way that the song is shared. And why is that? It's just because part of the value of a song is the lyric, and part of the value of a song is the music. Generally speaking, those are split 50-50, but it really depends on the agreements between different people. So if you think about music, you remember the lyrics, you know the lyrics make a difference, but so does the melody, so does the rhythm, so does the entire song. And the other thing that Laura said is that it's the publisher's responsibility to pay the songwriters. So it's the publishers and the songwriters that get paid, unless the songwriter doesn't have a publisher, in which case they get paid all of that share. So just to make a couple of differentiations, because I want to be clear with everybody that that the all the songwriters who ever share the songwriting credit in the song will get paid from the publisher or directly. There's a bunch of different ways of doing it. I'll let you ask the next question, and then we can go on. If you want.
Dale, is it your turn? Yeah, sure. I was going to let you go on because I was just saying this was all good.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking the same thing. It's funny you said that because I was thinking, yeah, that's great, Robert. Go ahead. But yeah, so well, we were talking about thinking about the LyricFind, basically how it the lyric. Are you like the lyric police? What would be a good way to put this, and the people to find out how to use their lyrics and their songs more effectively?
Well, I wouldn't say at all that we're the lyric police. Basically, what we do is we, it's a certainly a valid question, and there are some ways in which we do police lyrics, and I'll get to that in a second. But basically, we were the first company with a company that we then acquired the lyric business of to monetize lyrics legally online back in 2004. The other company was called Grace Note. You might have heard of Grace Note. It's a pretty big company. They do all the back end for Apple, and they do a lot of work in cars, which I'll also talk about a little bit later as well. So we were the first company to make lyrics legal online and make lyrics paid online. So everything online before us was illegal, non-authorized, and non-monetized, which means that nobody said it was okay to put the lyrics online. Nobody got paid for it, and the lyrics online were whatever whoever wrote and put it up there thought it was. It wasn't the authorized original lyrics. In many cases, it was a lot of mistakes. So we basically, with Grace Note, created a business. Then we acquired the lyrics business from Grace Note. And if you ask if we're the lyric police, basically we're the great doorman, I'd say. Like basically we allow lyrics to be online, legally, high quality. We have people who we pay on our content team to listen. If we don't get the lyrics from either the songwriters or the music distributors, which generally speaking means the labels. You probably have heard of CD Baby and TuneCore and The Orchard and 1RPM. We do get lyrics for most of those. Right now, not CD Baby yet, but we get lyrics if you're assigned to CD Baby Pro through a company called Songtrust, who handles their publishing side, which is CD Baby Pro. Anyway, DistroKid also sends us lyrics. So we're kind of the welcome mat, really, for all the lyrics online. There's one other company that's a competitor, but between us and them, we basically handle all the lyrics online. Now, the police aspect, I'll let you know, is that we can do profanity filters. For companies like Disney or child-facing companies, we don't want songs that are particularly vulgar and full of swear words to be in front of the kids, because their parents don't want them to be in front of the kids. So we can do that. And then with a new product that we have called Lyric IQ, we can also analyze songs for lyric themes. So if there's a site that doesn't want political songs, or a site that doesn't want religious songs, or a site that only wants religious songs, or a site that doesn't want songs that are sexist or racist, or have have xenophobic content, we can actually analyze the lyrics by theme. Right now, it only works in English, but it will work in other languages soon. It's a combination of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and human intelligence by kind of analyzing words and figuring out how much these words are in different songs. It's used mostly for playlisting and for music synchronization, which are two really major promotional ways of generating income. The whole process is pretty simple, and there's some complexity in the music publishing game, and I know a lot of the people might not know that much about music publishing. There's complexity in the master rights side, which is more the track side versus the song side. And when we say songwriters, artists who are not songwriters also generate income from what we do. And why is that? The reason for that is that when lyrics are exhibited and we're directly paying the publisher for each click, like Laura said, each time the lyric is shown, at the same time, what that does is it makes weird vocals, sorry, is it makes people statistically listen longer. So over the 30-second spot on DSPs where you don't get paid or you do get paid, longer, which means you make more money, and more times. And that's the master income that goes from the distributor to the label. So we do only work, this is one kind of bar that you have to cross to be working with us. You do have to have the songs commercially released, because if it's not commercially released, it's not going to be on our partners' platforms. And we work with well over 100 partners, 100 platforms around the world. Laura mentioned DSPs, digital service providers, like Deezer, like Amazon Music, like YouTube Music. But we don't work with only DSPs. We also work with car companies. I mentioned cars before. Car companies, Mercedes right now, if you have a Mercedes or you test drive a Mercedes, you'll see all the lyrics are supplied by LyricFind, whatever the music is in the car. We work with one really interesting, I love this client, this platform. It's something as I get older I can relate more and more to, but it's for music in hospitals and senior living centers. Everybody knows what a major impact music has on people's lives, and people in hospitals use music for healing. And when music is playing, people, it's called Coro Health, and they actually also have a faith-based kind of department as well, so that people who only want to hear Christian music can hear Christian music. And if we have the rights to show the lyrics, we can show the lyrics if there's a TV screen or something to help the people heal, and feel better and remember the songs. They might have Alzheimer's and not remember their name, but music touches a different part of the brain than that kind of memory. So the lyrics touch a different part of the brain, and the music touches a different part of the brain. So between the music and the lyrics, a lot of times, if they can read it, if they can still, see and understand written material or sing it, it actually helps with healing. So we have lots of different kinds of partners, and they all pay us based on the usage, based on which lyrics they're showing. So that gives you a little bit more. And when I said it was easy to work with us, we have a website, lyricfind.com. You can send Robert at LyricFind or Laura at lyricfind.com emails. You can go to publisher at lyricfind.com. You can look up the information on the website. And, even though generally speaking, the songs that are the most popular are the songs that make the most money for the songwriter and the publisher, and for us also. We're very, kind of, in a way, geared also towards emerging artists and mid-level artists. And it's important because if people are searching your lyrics on Google search and they're not licensed to either us or to our competitor, the people won't find those lyrics. Which means that also, I mentioned before a little bit of the ancillary income, which was when I talked about the record labels and the artists making money also. for track income, because when lyrics are online, people listen longer and more times. But that's one of the ways of generating money from lyrics outside of the direct income that we pay the publishers and the publishers pay the songwriters. So ancillary income is really important, because if, for example, your song is on there and there's a music supervisor who puts music in advertising, which is hugely lucrative, films, which are lucrative, or television, which is also lucrative, or even web placements, which also generate income, but they can't find a song about horses or glasses or whatever that you wrote, they're not going to be able to know what your song is about. So they're not going to be able to find you. So music synchronizations go up, karaoke goes up. Basically, every single music income stream goes up as a fan knows the lyrics to your songs. So that's really important, because basically you're creating more customers. You're touching more hearts. You're making people dance. You're making people think. You're making people sing. You're enlightening people in the moment and forever if they remember the song. Songs do stay with us for a long time.
Right. So the DSPs send you the lyrics, or would it be okay? So the artist license. Okay, the artist has to be licensed their song before they submit their. How does that work?
Yeah, sorry. Thanks. I said it was simple, but I haven't explained it yet. So the artist sends us the lyrics. They license the lyrics, and then we send the lyrics to all our platform partners. Basically, every day we're sending lyrics to over 100 partners. They put it on their platforms, and they account to us for the usage and pay us for the usage, and we pay the music publishers. Now, one caveat to that is that if you come to our website and just sign up, then you're what's called a 0% account, which means there's no money paid and there's no accounting. The only reason we do that is because there's millions of artists that come to our website, and if there's not a lot of searches, there's also a minimum first payment in our regular contracts, which is, I think, $100. So what it means is that all of those artists, it's going to take them a long time to make $100. One thing that's important to know is that the publisher's royalty per click, every time music is played on a DSP or anywhere, the publisher's royalty per click, if the lyrics are exhibited, licensed, and monetized through us, that money, the per stream micro pennies that gets paid, is doubled on average if the lyric is exhibited, just with our direct income, not the ancillary income, just the direct income, it's doubled. If it's an ad-supported service, i.e. a free service that's not subscription-based, then it's multiplied times 4. The total publisher's income, which includes, if people know about publishing, includes the mechanical rights and the performances. But that income is doubled or multiplied times 4 when your song is played and also when the lyric is shown. So it's a significant increase in the amount of income. Now, everybody knows the amount of income per stream is very low, but if you have a lot of streams, it adds up.
Okay. I'm gonna step back a little bit, because I just want to make this clear, make sure that our audience is clear about this. So we've had conversations about licensing our songs in general. So licensing with SOCAN, licensing with CRMMA, licensing with Connect Music. We've talked about this, and we've been encouraging our artists that when they write their song, to license with each one. Are we correct in saying that they also should license their song, especially their lyrics, with LyricFind directly?
Laura, you want to take this?
I guess it depends. If a songwriter works with a publisher or has one of these organizations that you mentioned administer their publishing rights, and we already work with them, then the licensing would be it would be cleared, and they would just be able to submit their lyrics directly to us. If they control their own publishing, they can reach out to us and we can go over all of the options. They could either register through one of our many partners, worldwide, or if they're not really interested for whatever reason in monetizing their lyrics, there's still benefits to registering directly through our website. As Robert mentioned, we call that a 0% account, but there's a lot of exposure that's gained by having the lyrics online, and it triggers all of the other revenue streams that Robert mentioned. So it's still a great way to reach a broader audience and make sure music supervisors find your lyrics and drive traffic to your music.
Okay, we also have, thank you. We also have a couple of questions coming in online here, so I'm trying to read them. One was define commercially released. You mentioned earlier that the songs have to be commercially released. So does that mean it has to go through like a CD baby, or does it have to just be
It
what's the
has
word
to
I'm thinking
be,
about?
sorry.
Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, it has to be sent to a distributor to send out to the digital service providers. It doesn't have to be on a label. It just has to be sent to by a distributor. A version of the track has to be available commercially on the different distributors that we work with. That's all it means. But also to answer your question before, a little bit more specifically for Canada, because you mentioned a lot of the Canadian organizations. Right now, we do have it with SOCAN RR. So it's not all of the SOCAN songs. It's only the SOCAN songs where they represent what's called the reproduction rights. And the reproduction rights are what we call the lyric exhibition rights. Reproduction rights would also work for sheet music. It's the same kind of a right. It's a specific, when you write actually the lyrics out or the notes out, that's a reproduction right. So SOCAN RR, we do have an agreement with. And if you're through SOCAN RR, then that's fine. We do not yet have an agreement with CMRRA. We've been working on that for a long time. We would love to have an agreement with them. We don't yet. I think it will happen, but I'm not sure when. Dates with Faye, Harry Fox agency, also called Rumblefish. So we also, and even if you're a Canadian or an artist from anywhere in the world, you can sign up directly through HFA. I'm not sure if that's the same with SOCAN RR. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I know it is the same with CMRRA. But also, if you're on CD Baby Pro, we have an agreement with Songtrust, who handles CD Baby's pros. If you're on DistroKid, we have an agreement with DistroKid. If you're on TuneCore, we have an agreement with Centric, who handles the TuneCore publishing side. Although I'm not sure that every TuneCore, I think it's an option to represent the publishing side at TuneCore. So yeah, that's commercial release, and I highly recommend that, as Laura said, if you have an agreement with one of those companies, then just send us the lyrics. If you've already sent DistroKid the lyrics, it means we probably have the lyrics, because we have 1.5 million lyrics from DistroKid. But you are represented by DistroKid, and you want to check with us to see if your lyrics are there, you can do that too. Or you can send them, or you can check with us and see if we already have the lyrics. But we pay DistroKid, and DistroKid is supposed to pay the publishers or the songwriters if it's self-published. And I presume they do. They have a pretty tight company.
Yeah.
Awesome. Another question that came through, if that's okay. Okay, so this person has said, if I make a lyric video for YouTube, do I make money, or is it only the songwriter? Now, I don't know if this person is coming from the perspective of being the songwriter and therefore making the lyric video, or if this person is saying, hey, I like this song, I just found it, so I'm going to make a lyric video for it. So there may be two questions here in the midst of this one. So how would you answer that?
So kind of a complicated question, because like you said, you don't really know who the person is. It could be a label, it could be a songwriter, it could be an artist, it could be what we call UGC, user generated content. It could be just a user. So it really depends on who it is. But there's some really interesting things happening with YouTube and lyric videos, and there's some really majorly new news that's happening with LyricFind in terms of lyric videos, and as well lyric translation videos, which is where the music is playing, let's say, in English, and you can read it in French, or the music is playing in French, and you can read the lyrics in English. So like I said, the answer varies by who the person is. If we have a license with you, and YouTube Music, which is different than YouTube. YouTube Music is a subscription-based service where you pay for subscriptions, and they also show videos. But YouTube, right now, YouTube has a system for, it's called the CMS, for claiming publishing rights and claiming master rights at YouTube. And the publishers and the labels who are signed up to that CMS do collect mechanical rights, royalties, and performance royalties. But there's kind of a little wrinkle in that YouTube isn't actually paying now for reproduction rights. And we're trying to solve that hole. But it is a hole. It is a hole right now that we're trying to solve. And all the labels who generally give YouTube the lyric videos, and they do pay the labels for them for usage, and they do pay the publishers for them for usage. The labels know that that's a hole, even the majors, and they've asked us to try to help solve it, as have the publishers, because they're paying for certain rights, but they're not paying for all the rights. So if there's any executives from YouTube listening on YouTube, let's talk about that, because it's literally, probably billions of dollars, or at least hundreds of millions of dollars that are kind of missing on the one particular type of right, which has been happening ever since the internet started. So it's the people who are controlling the publishing and the master rights who are working really hard with the tech companies, to actually sort out all the missing links and the money that doesn't get paid properly, which we've heard at Canadian Music Week a few years ago from the head of Cobalt, the founder of Cobalt, who said it was 75% of the money on the master side and 75% of the money on the work side, the publishing side, doesn't get paid to the rightful copyright. So every day, everybody in music tech is trying to solve those problems. And, I put in there YouTube as well, and the DSPs as well, because there's a lot of songs, 100 million songs on some of these platforms. And there's a lot of information and trillions of bits of information that has to be sorted out. So it's not an easy lift, but it's something that LyricFind has been working really vigorously on since the beginning of that. Nothing was paid properly in the beginning, right? Everything was infringed. All the copyrights were infringed. But we've sorted it out so that almost all the copyrights are paid properly. But lyric videos. So let me go back a little bit and talk about our new product, the lyric video product that we have. Traditionally, as we've explained already, we've been dealing with publishers and songwriters with the publishing right. With lyric videos, we're dealing with labels and distributors to build lyric videos at a very, very cost-effective price. We actually call it free to create, because the cost can be paid on the back end if you want to go that way, or it can be paid on the front end. It's a new product, so not too many people know it exists. But if you go to LyricFind and then you check, go under products and go under lyric videos, you can see some examples. We also do lyric translation videos. Death Row through E1 had all their lyrics translated. We have a reggaeton star named Bryant Myers, again through E1 with this. So we've translated and made a bunch of lyric videos for the labels, and that's really changed our business model, because now we can work with the artists and the labels and the distributor side, as well as the publisher and the songwriter side, and give them a really lyric video, either for free or for very inexpensive, free with some back end, some commission on the back end, or some small fee up front that whoever it is, it's kind of a case-by-case thing. It's not a same price for everybody yet, because again, we're just starting. So we're trying to figure out the best, but we're working with Beggar's Banquet, which is a very successful independent label. Adele was on Beggar's Banquet, for example, and lots of other major artists. we've been working with E1. E1 joined our screen by screen panel the other day with our head of sales to talk about his experience. And so because we have a pretty massive lyric database, and a good chunk of those songs are time stamped, so they go along with the audio. What we do is we have the label, the distributor, or the artist at this point send us the digital information and the audio in a particular format, which is generally called DDEX, although we can take it in other formats. It's the same format that distributors send to all the DSPs, DDEX. We can take it in other formats too. And then we basically merge our database, each lyric, with the images, and we create a lyric video. And the artist or the label or the distributor gets to play with it a little bit, how big the font is, which color they want the font, whether they want the lyric and the translation, whether they only want the translation, whether they only want the lyric. The whole process is pretty simple, and anybody can do it. And then our system will create the lyric video and send the lyric video on to the label or distributor. It's a new process.
This is kind of monumental. This is great assistance for new artists that are scratching their heads trying to figure out the lyric videos are really, really helpful for singles, and it's something that artists really need to consider. And this makes it so much easier.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I'm something I've been thinking about visioning for like 19 years with the lyric translation videos, because I've been working on giving music subtitles for 19 years. So, for me, I'm loving it. Then if we could see even, crazy rap songs with Spanish translations, or, from other countries into English that I can read and understand. There's an artist who I love who's a household name in Brazil called Emicida, Emicida, who also has a Netflix movie called Amor, which is a beautiful movie about Brazilian music and the history and social consciousness of Brazil. And he did this with his own lyrics, with his own videos in translation. It totally changed his career. So if any of the artists out there who are watching, or the songwriters out there who are watching, have another country that's interested in their songs, and you can see that on different Google Trends or the different DSPs. If there's countries that are interested, think about doing a translation video into Spanish if it's a Latin American country, or Spain, or if it's Germany, into German, because that'll enable people. I mean, a lot of Germans speak English, but not that many people in Brazil speak English. So not that many people in Japan speak English. Not that many people in China speak English. Right. So that's a whole other element of what we're doing with human translations. I can talk about that a little bit more. I could talk about that all day. But if everybody knows YouTube's closed captioning here, probably, where you can see AI subtitles of songs in English in different languages, or songs in Spanish and English, that's completely changed the game, changed the business for Spanish song music in America. Since YouTube's closed captioning launched, Despacito was launched on YouTube, and reggaeton and Spanish song music is up ×5. It's $1 billion business in America now. $1 billion business in America. It was about 200 million back then when they launched that. And that's bad lyric translations. It's AI. We do human lyric translations. And YouTube did that because of the work that I've done over the last 19 years, talking about it everywhere. They told me, senior execs from YouTube told me that they did it because of that. And they've made literally many billions of dollars on lyric, on the subtitles, on the closed captioning of videos, because people from different countries come and try to figure out what their favorite songs mean that are commercially popular and heavily commercially promoted worldwide. Remember, all the major labels are basically, instruments of capitalism, let's say, in a way, and it's all promotion and marketing, and major labels are basically sending music all over the world, and to lots and lots and lots of billions of people who don't speak English. So it offers a window into the song.
Right. And then the AI translators aren't always accurate. So the human
Correct.
side of it makes it accurate. So that makes a
Perfect.
lot of
Yeah,
sense to
exactly.
me. Yeah.
Yes, Spanish English is pretty good. I'd say 80%. But if you go Portuguese English or French English or Italian
Or
English or
French
German
English. Yeah,
English,
totally.
it
Right.
goes worse. And if you're talking about songs in
Exactly.
indigenous languages or whatever, or small languages, the AI really isn't there at all. It doesn't work at all.
Helpful. Yeah, not helpful.
Yeah, 80% is
Yeah.
better than nothing, though, and that's quintuple
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
business of Spanish music in
Understood.
America. Not only
Yeah.
that, but also extra promotion, and as well, Bieber's never going to do a song with Luis Fonsi if he doesn't know the lyrics, right? So artistic
Right.
collaborations are possible, cross-lingual,
Yeah.
and that's what's also boosted, tremendously
Mm.
reggaeton and different Spanish sung music.
I
Absolutely.
love
Yeah.
that.
Indeed.
Let's talk
Oh,
about
let me just say,
just making the world smaller.
I was just
Exactly.
going to say, I want to thank everybody for making the world smaller by watching us, because we're on
Yeah.
YouTube right now, and this is broadcasting all around. And if you're a first-time viewer, thank you so much for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe and help us out by putting something in the chat right now. Just get in there and saying, "Hey, how are you?" Because I want to connect with you. After this goes up on YouTube, I'm going to be looking at it and checking on the stuff. So hit the notification bell so you'll know the next time we put a video up, and it'll be a chance for us to chat. And I'd love to let you know about our website, GMIHub.ca. You go there and check out what we're all about. You can find out more information about the GMI Hub and what we're all about. And it's there where you can connect with us on an ongoing basis. And that's through our connect with us. And you'll see a connect, and you'll see, put your email in there, and we will send you a monthly newsletter. It's the hub happening. It's sent your way. And it kind of a kind of retrospective what's happening with us. And if you're an artist or a producer or someone who's putting events on, or you got stuff that you want other people to know about that we're doing in our industry, we'll put it in our hub happening for free. We'll let people know what you're up to, because we really want to help and encourage you to continue to move forward. Also about our playlists, we have some playlists on Spotify and YouTube, and we want to continue to add your music. So if you have a song that you've got on Spotify or you have it on YouTube, give it us the permission, and we will put it on our playlist. And we would love to encourage and help you as we move forward in this exciting new venture to put your song and encourage other people to listen to it. So thank you so much for that. And let's get on to our conversation, shall we?
Yes. Wow. I was just busy checking to see who's coming on, what other questions were coming on. So this is so far so good, and you've answered so many questions that I'm digging for more questions right now. Laura, we haven't heard from you very much. Talk to us about.
Poor
Was you
Robert.
there?
Poor Robert. He's got lots to say, and he's like, "Oh, I shouldn't probably talk so much."
No,
No,
no, no,
I
no. That's
appreciate
okay.
Rob. That's great, Rob. Thank you.
No, no, no.
But I'm
I
sure
like
Laura
he's
has.
excited. Oh,
Yeah.
I love his passion. I love Robert's passion, because especially with the translation, because as actually as he was talking, I was just thinking of some people that are on our mailing list, and some of them are actually, they actually write and speak in their home language. I'm thinking of one. I think he's Colombian, and he lives in one of the prairie provinces. I want to say Alberta or Saskatchewan. I'm not quite sure, but he's in that area, and he's writing his music in his own home language and sending it back to his home country, even though he's here in Canada, right?
Cool.
So as I'm hearing this, I'm going, he's tuning in, going, this is something that's, because this music is great, but it's like it's all in another language, and now you can enjoy it too, kind of idea.
Awesome.
So I was all yeah. So
that's great.
I'm hoping he's tuning in and checking that out. So I'm just scrolling through and got some people. Let's see if there's any more questions coming in. Laura.
Well,
go ahead, Dale.
I was just wondering if when we're talking about LyricFind and there's so many different things that it offers. Now, there's something we haven't talked about. What's one thing that LyricFind has that may make them stand out for artists?
Lots.
Well, I mean, I think if I can just step in, I think the fact that the lyrics that we add to our database, we have content teams, as Robert was mentioning, around the world really transcribing lyrics. And the fact that they're not user generated, they're vetted lyrics, doubly vetted. We vet lyrics that we get from the partners that we work with, from distributors. I think that makes a difference because the quality is generally better than getting user generated lyrics or content. Robert?
Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think?
Back to Robert. I love it.
I mean, what else can we say? Contact us. Please put us on your mailing list too, GMIHub. I'm not on YouTube right now, so please do that. And again, we really thank you and thank the sponsors. We've also been working to work with Factor. I saw that was one of your sponsors. We work with the federal government of Canada. We have a few different grant programs in. If there's anybody listening who is active in the Indigenous artist community with Indigenous languages, please contact us because we have a whole program there through a Toronto-based record label, Indigenous-owned record label called Red Music Rising,
Oh, cool.
management company and a label. They work with a lot of great artists. It's also through partner of APTN, for-profit partner of the Aboriginal People's Television Network called Dadan Sivanuvit. And then we also have a Canadian Heritage called Creative Export Canada program as well that's happening now. You mentioned Colombia and somebody singing in Spanish. What we did with a Colombian artist named Lido Pimienta, who was a Polaris Prize winner, she sings in Spanish as well. And when she performed in New York at Central Park Summer Stage, part of our grant programs was doing in-concert lyric translations. So we have we translated every one of her songs for a mixed audience. I mean, I would say most of the people. The headliner was Lila Downs, who was a Mexican artist. Who it was wonderful because we translated all of Lida's songs. But when Lila performed, she also had one song that she had it was almost like a movie on the big video screens, and she had all the lyric translations there, and I was like, yeah, it's like even the headliner who we didn't know, and it was beautiful the way she did it. Also, it was a whole festival of Mexican dancing and singing. So we do in concert lyric translations and live lyric translations, and we're really basically honestly working out a business model on that one, but the support from the Canadian government and different organizations in Canada. We also have 2 EU grants that we're working on now as well. So the governmental support has been very useful to kind of build out new products like the lyric videos, to actually aggregate more lyrics. In fact, during one of the Canadian Heritage grants, we paid publishers to send us the lyrics. We actually gave them money to send in lyrics so that they could earn money because we wanted to get more Canadian lyrics in our database. But the SOCAN deal only happened recently, and I'm very excited about that because LyricFind is a Canadian company. We have a New York branch. I'm actually based in New York. We have an EU company coming up soon, but it's based, it's 100 people in downtown Toronto, Yonge and Eglinton, almost 100 people, although some of them are working remotely some of the days now still. But it's a Canadian company, and we've had great support from the Canadian government. Mainly the Canadian government right now understands the value of doing lyric translation as export because they know that in countries like Japan and China and Brazil, even in Germany, if the songs are sung in English but the subtitles are understood with human translations in their language. Nelson Mandela had a line that says, if you speak to someone in your language, you're speaking to their head. If you speak to someone in their language, you're speaking to their heart. And it makes a huge difference. Were there any other questions from the audience or questions from you guys that we could answer? Because we're happy to answer any questions.
I'm just going to call it back up again. I just had.
Yeah. While she's looking, this is a great tool. You mentioned about the live performance with the lyrics going on in a different language. This is a great tool for people who are possibly traveling, doing tours overseas or something, and they have an opportunity then to have their background or whatever with applicable lyrics for the country that they're in. I think that's an amazing tool. An amazing tool.
Exactly. We did it in Lula Lounge. I'll give a shout out to them recently. A band called Kune, who comes from around Toronto area. I'm not sure exactly, but they actually sang in 8 different languages, and we translated 7
That's insane.
of them. Or we had some of their translations and translated the other ones, and it was really beautiful because Lula Lounge has a screen above the band, which is obscured mostly by the band, but it has a long rectangular strip at the top. The original language on one side and the translation on the other. So languages like Arabic that are beautiful, cursive script and everything, and translated, with their logo in the middle. So everybody in the band absolutely loved it. Really, really,
so
really
cool.
enjoyed it, and everybody in the audience could understand every word they sang rather than 0 words they sang. So it does make a difference.
And I bet you everybody, I can bet you everybody was kind of going, man, remember that band that had that.
Absolutely, because it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
Indie Week we did that as well, and so we did it in Brazil with 2 great Toronto-based artists, one called TRPP Trippy, and one called Amoy, and they also really, really loved it. So at a huge festival, like there was over 100,000 people there in Brasilia. Actually, Daryl and Zach from Indie Week helped us with that one.
Is that right?
A lot. Yeah, they were down there. I couldn't make that one, but we put it together in Toronto. We have a person in Toronto. I'm trying to do it at a big event in Yonge and Dundas Square in the end of March. I was just talking about that with a friend with Indigenous artists as well, and Lula Lounge loved it too. So we're hoping to do that more and more, and it just gives the live experience a whole other dimension if you can. It's also really good for hearing challenged people. And remember, at most concerts,
that makes sense.
It's hard to hear the words anyway. I mean, depending on the mix, right? I mean, you've been to lots of concerts where, what did he say? I'm always going like this, to get the mid so I can hear the words, because I'm obviously kind of a word guy, a lyric guy. And I've worked with a lot of bands. I remember REM in the beginning, who I worked with, you couldn't really tell the lyrics, and they did that on purpose. But then they realized that if they wanted to be really successful, then they had to have people understand the words. So it is important to, lyrics are a mnemonic device, and that change your life, right? I mean, if you remember the lyrics to a song, you're in some situation and go, oh yeah, oh yeah, and it helps you get out of that, momentary, whatever feeling of paralysis, whatever it is, it just helps you.
Get enlightened.
I think it's awesome, because I think I only know of our list of people. Well, I know one artist that actually is using their lyrics during their performance, like literally putting it up behind them while they are singing, because their logic was people will enjoy the song more if they know what I'm trying to say, kind of idea, or they understand
perfect,
it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just awesome.
Opera does it in some theater. That's wonderful that an artist does it on their own. I
think that's awesome. So I just I was looking for more questions. Nothing yet. I think people are still kind of soaking all this information in, but one of the questions I have are just, again, this is more or less a clarification. So we talked lyric videos, but sometimes we see lyrics just I don't even know the names of the sites, but if someone's doing a research, like I want the lyrics to this particular song, and they go up to a page and literally it's just the lyrics just listed down on a page, that's monetizable as well? As in, that's something that LyricFind is responsible for, or is involved with?
If it is, it'll say our name on the bottom. It has credits also, which is really important too. Who wrote the song, the name of the songwriter, the publisher, and it'll say furnished by LyricFind or something, licensed by LyricFind. So those are probably would be considered lyric sites. And we just, for example, have an agreement with the biggest lyric site in Hungary, and we have all the Hungarian lyrics now site. And they have a big following of all the people from Hungary around the world who speak Hungarian around the world. Now we have the rights as well, because the CMO, like SOCAN, told us that yes, everything goes through them, is licensed properly. And the Publishers Association, who we checked with, also said yes, everything's licensed properly. So now, we're just about to add, like today or yesterday or tomorrow, all the Hungarian lyrics that exist, basically like 100,000 Hungarian lyrics. So,
Wow.
but yeah, those lyric sites should be licensed by us, and if they're not, then basically they're doing something illegal, and they're infringing your copyright. And one thing I want to tell everybody about is that copyright infringement penalties in the US and copyright infringement penalties in Canada are very, very high. So what that means and is that your lyrics are being infringed. If you see your lyrics, for example, if you see your lyrics now on Spotify in the US or Canada, and you did not give a license, or your publisher didn't give a license, or your distributor or SOCAN or HFA didn't give a license to our competitor who serves Spotify right now, you have a huge potential suit on your hand if you wanted to. I mean, that's it's something that will be changed eventually, and hopefully is being changed. But artists need to protect their copyright. This is like what gets them out of their day job and into being a professional musician, is if they protect their copyright, if they promote and market their copyright, if they make sure that everything is on the up and up and that copyrights are respected. It's really, really important to make sure that artists understand the value in their copyright, and songwriters do. And say, oh, well, I just do it as a hobby or whatever. And okay, that's fine to a certain level, but if you never know, your hobby might all of a sudden be on a advertisement, if it's properly protected and somebody, licenses it properly, and that could be $1 million, it could be a total life changer, literally. I mean, I've been involved in $1 million things before. You never know. So it's really important to make sure your songs are protected, your lyrics are protected across the board, and anything you can do to make that happen is super important.
That's very good to know, because it's very easy to sit there and we've heard it before too, that there are people that say, well, if you don't find the lyrics to a particular song, just put it up online and you can make money. That's what it seems like. But you're right, if they're not doing it the right way,
nobody's going to pay them if they're not licensed, because they're not licensed. There's no real route for them to pay them, and the MMA and the MLC in America basically protected the DSPs, YouTube, Google, Spotify, from copyright infringement penalties on mechanicals and performances, which was a good thing, because they got the they got a lot of information properly represented within the MLC, so that people can be paid properly. So it was really a positive step for the industry. However, lyric exhibition rights are not covered in that exclusion. So that's why I said that the mechanicals and performances, Google and Spotify and the other companies don't have to worry about that anymore, because they put a lot of money in to create this to actually to pay more accurately the publishers and the songwriters. And there's, like I said before, harmonizing 100 million songs and getting all the metadata properly fixed with 100 million songs. It's not an easy game, but more and more, there's so many companies involved that are trying to make it better, like us, all the time. That hopefully, eventually, that 75% statistical, maybe now it's down to 65% or 50% or whatever. Hopefully it'll be zero and everybody will be getting paid properly, or at least 10% or something. Everybody will be getting paid properly, but it is important to make sure that the artists get educated as much as possible, and that's what GMIHub is doing. And I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about LyricFind and what we do with lyrics on it as well. But it's education, it's capacity building, it's information, it's sharing the knowledge. That's super important. So what you guys are doing is fantastic, and we appreciate being being invited to talk about what we can do for your for your listeners.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Thanks for the promo. Appreciate that.
We appreciate having you on here.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I said, I knew that when I heard you at Indie, I couldn't remember the name of the convention, Stream My Screen and Indie Week. When I heard you guys, I thought, oh my word, this community needs to hear this stuff, right? Because it's just stuff we don't know. I mean, and we do need that education. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us and sharing all this. I'm pretty sure that as people watch this on the repeat, they're going to want more information. But right now, I will say this: if you're watching us right now and you love what you're hearing, definitely make a comment in the notes. If you have any questions, send it, or if you want, just go to lyricfind.com. All right, is that right? Lyricfind.com, and you can find a lot of information there on what they have to offer and how to make sure that your lyrics are protected. You can also go with your distributors if you are listing your songs with the CD Babies and TuneCores and DistroKids, etc. Ask about what's happening with your lyrics. You can do that. Ask about if your lyrics are also covered, if LyricFind is involved with that, and if they're not, then contact LyricFind and find out how you can make sure that your lyrics are protected and
Right.
that you can get properly monetized for the use of that lyric. Am I right in saying that,
Now,
Robert and Laura? Did I say that right? Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
But Robert and Laura, you can actually contact them personally. Robert at right, you can actually do that.
Lyricfind.com.
Lyricfind.com. You can do that, both of them. If you have a direct question of something they said tonight and it's kind of resonated with you, just please feel free to email them because they would be very willing to respond to your questions. And so we appreciate you guys watching at home. And just before we go, I'd like to ask Laura and Robert, is there anything maybe we said before or even something we haven't said that you would maybe at this point might say, before I go, I want to make sure this is said again or needs to be said?
One thing I want to say, is to make sure this is for anyone submitting their lyrics. So songwriters out there who are following the conversation tonight, make sure that your metadata is clean and in order. What I mean by that is information like song titles, the different writers, share percentages that are owned of that composition, because that's the information that we need in order to track all of the different views and lyric usage and be able to pay out royalties.
Right. And if you have any questions about that, email Laura at
Yes.
musicfind.com because she'll help you get all those lyricfind.com. Yeah, those will get you all the answers you need at lyricfind.com. So do that, please.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I'd like to add is just make sure you do it. I mean, it's always good to hear new, nice ideas, but this is really beneficial for you. Honestly, I can't think of much more things that you can do that are that easy to do that get your lyrics distributed on 120 platforms around the world with, many, many billions of views around the world these platforms have. So, it's a simple thing. You have your lyrics, you know what your lyrics are, you need to cut and paste them. There is a certain formula that we go by, or format guidelines, which are very simple. It means just write out every single word in the lyrics and don't put things like ×2 for chorus ×2. Don't put things like featuring so and so. It's just the lyrics. We want the lyrics in a clean format. It's that information is on our website. But I just really want everybody to do it because you never know. Like I said, one sync from your lyrics being on Google search and being searched by some music supervisor. I know this because I've music supervised films before, and I always look at the lyrics and I search for lyrics, and other people search for lyrics based on what's happening in the scene or what's happening in the advertisement. And one lyric, one synchronization can completely change your life. And I've seen it happen quite a few times. And most syncs are, almost all syncs are lyric oriented. Even if it's the instrumental track without the lyrics, you have to know what the lyrics are, because some people know that, and it has to go with the scene. It has to actually affect the people, even in the subconscious. So my request for everybody listening and everybody who watches this is just do it. It's just actually get it on the sites, on the services, make money on this thing, and even if it's minimal money at first, you never know what's going to happen. And if fans don't know the lyrics to your song, if they're not easily available, this is the way to do it. So so for you, and not only for you, but for the fans who get to understand what it is that you're writing. I mean, Dale, you said you write songs. How important it is for you for people to know, to know what song it is. So make sure that you get your lyrics up on LyricFind of the songs that are distributed, and I would love to see you get successful through a lyric exhibition that somebody picks up, and all of a sudden it's a sync, and you say, "Oh yeah, I remember when I interviewed that guy." It's like, hey, because we do have lots of people who do have that success, So, I hope that we work with a bunch of the people from the gospel music industry, and anybody who has any questions can please get in touch with us. Gospel music the lyrics are super important, right? I mean, it's all about the lyrics with gospel music. And if if you're singing the gospel, but you're deaf and you can't hear it, and it's written, boom. If you're singing the gospel and the mic is bad and you can't hear it, if it's in a different language and you can't understand it, boom. So that's what it is that we do, and we'd love to assist everybody and assist the people of the world to understand the great songs that are out there everywhere. So anyway, thank you very much again.
Awesome. Thank you. We really want to thank you both so much. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Robert and Laura. So awesome to have you. I'm pretty sure we're going to ask you back. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more questions. I know it. But thank you so much for what you shared with us. And yes, we'll be happy to put you on our list, and just keep you abreast of what's hoping on. And Dale, you got your hint already about your song. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So there, he actually does have some pretty hopping songs. And I think it'd be awesome for you to share that and get some return on investment with all your work. So I think that's absolutely awesome. And for all of you that are watching, thank you so much for being with us. I hope and trust that you gained a lot out of this and that you will spread the link. Go ahead, spread the link. This is some valuable information that could make a giant change in your music career. So go check that out. Also, go to GMIHub.ca if you want to know more about what's going on with us. And remember to subscribe and click the bell. Is that right? Did I say that right, Dale?
Notification bell. Yeah, exactly. That way you'll know the next time we put a video up. And that would be great for you guys to connect with us and stick around and be part of our vast growing team. And one way to do that is to go to GMIHub.ca and drop an email there, because we'd love to hear from you guys and connect with you on an ongoing basis and communicate ongoing basis. So email us. I'm Dale at GMIHub.ca. Just bug me as much as you want. I love that.
And of course, you'll see that we're available also on social media. So go ahead and like and follow us on there, because we want to connect with you. But until next time, we want to say goodnight for now. And we want to see you next time right here on GMI Hub Online. See ya.
Bye.